righto, so here's that. It does have Black & Decker written on here, but it is actually a Dewalt radial arm saw 770. I showed you in the video, 2 videos back I think, and yeah, it's in a very sad state. It's all frozen up, and because I don't even know if the motor works, but I do like the older machines with serial numbers and all the information on there, even pattern numbers, and information about the actual motor. Now this is a 6 amp 240 volt. If you can see that, so that makes this a 2 horsepower motor. So it's a serious tool, and it's a very great shame that this is all rusted up. But we'll fix all that up during this video, and we'll take this cowling off and get it all cleaned up and get it all working. And something I did notice, and something you probably should be aware of if you go and buy a second-hand tool, especially one dating back to the 1980s. Now, someone has broken off or cut off the earth terminal here in the plug. Now, that's a real stupid thing to do. I don't know what reason that's been taken off there, but it has. So I've either got to certainly replace the plug end, or replace the whole lead. I might replace the whole electrical cable through here. I'll have to see what condition it is. There you are, Dewalt 10-inch Powershop, right? And of course this has seen better days. So we'll take all this off and see if we can. I'm probably going to end up having to rub this all back and respraying that, but I don't really want to spray anything else. I want to keep the original paint if I can. And I've gone out and bought this is a hardwood laminate or plyboard. It's very flat, and I'm going to use that and an MDF board, and I'm going to build a new table and fence for it as well after I've got it running. And I did have a look at the blade too, although it's a little bit, it's got surface rust on it, it's still sharp, and I think if I clean that blade up, I think it's going to be just fine. But we'll find out. Quite a heavy beast this. It's approximately 40 kilos all up. It's very solid. So let's take this off. The left-hand thread on here. Look at that beautiful brass nut. Whew. With a few things missing out of there, that should have. It should have a spacer between the back of the cup there and this spacer as well. Not too bad condition actually. A little bit of surface rust only, so I'll take that off. Well, actually, what I'll do is I'm going to take the camera off the tripod a minute and just show you the inside of this casing. Excuse the camera wobbling around a bit. Okay, so let's bring you in for a bit of a look in here. And they do not make them like they used to. Well, they probably do, but this is actually absolutely built to last. I've just had a quick look at the cabling in here and I can't fault it. Everything looks absolutely fine. One thing you must look for is that you do have an earth to the chassis. A lot of machines, older machines, don't. So that's one thing to look for. If you're uncertain, you should get a qualified electrician to have a look for you. I'm not condoning, you know, anybody that doesn't know too much about electrics to delve in and dabble themselves, because could be a recipe to disaster. So I've just blown the dust out of the motor. Those bearings feel really good. You know, I think all this is going to need is a good clean up, hopefully. But yes, what I was saying about playing around with electrics, you know, a lot of people think they know, and they go pulling panels off machines and dabbling with wires, and yeah, it could end up in tears. And anyway, so let's see what happens now. Yes, so it's looking like someone has just either snapped that off, broken it off, or cut it off, or done something. Absolutely dangerous thing to do. So I've just cut the plug off and the cable inside looks good. So I'm just going to peel this back now and fit the new plug on. Okay, what you should do is do a little continuity test to make sure that the whole machine is earthed, especially on these older machines. So you set it on ohms and press connect it to the earth lead and just go straight to body. It should go straight to 0. Okay, so that we know that the frame is earthed and we know that the motor is earthed. There you go, the motor is earthed as well. So now, and only now, you're good to plug it in. Okay, I'm guessing that the grease that's already in these bearings are probably dried up a bit. So WD-40, magic stuff. Put a bit in the bearings before you even attempt to start it up. They actually feel beautiful. Let's see if it goes. This, by the way, has got a brake on it. It's a little bit of muck in there, I think. I don't know how long that's been seized up like that, but that now is pretty damn good. That surprised me. That did surprise me. That is running nearly as good as new. They really don't build them like they used to, do they? Wow. You can't really expect much else from a Dewalt, or actually in this case Dewalt Black & Decker was the same company. I think it is now again the same company, but you know, built really well, and you know, Dewalt tools and Black & Decker are built really well today as well. You know, this is a Dewalt machine. It was you know, the top of the range, the best machine that you could buy for this type of work, and you know, sort of joiners or frame makers, for picture frame makers, you know, would have one of these. This is, you know, the top of the line semi-industrial machine, and you know, it's built by Dewalt. You can't expect anything else from a company like Dewalt, and you know, even the job of getting this back to operational condition again is very easy. It's nothing too difficult about it. I mean, you know, everything now works as it should. I think that one does this. There we go. There's a trigger just in here. If you pull this back, it pulls this trigger down, and then that locks up. Beautiful. It all actually works. Just got to pull that up out the way. Absolutely wonderful. So really all I got to do, and this is the engine brake. This is the brake. They think of everything. I mean, they didn't have electronic braking back in the day, but I'll show you what this does now. All right, there's no blade on it at the moment, but that's okay. It's a brake. There's actually inside there's a brake disc like a car that slows the motor up. Beautiful. So now what I want to do is just check, make sure everything is lubricated in here. I just went through it with lubricant and it all works as it should. The only other thing now is the up and down movement. I'll put the handle back on actually and give that a try next. Okay. What I want to do is run it with the blade on, make sure the blade is not out of balance in any way. Okay, that's better. brake works, everything works. Okay. It all works. Goes up and down. There we go. It all works. So now the last job is to put this little degree target as an anti-kickback device, I understand. Okay, so there we go. One fully functioning Dewalt 740 radial arm saw. And you know what they say about Dewalt tools, don't you? Dewalt tools never die. Here's living proof. So I hope you'll tune in for the next video, which will be I will be building the bed for this and the fence and lining it all up nice and square. It's just too much to get into one video, otherwise you'll only get bored. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you tune in again for one of my other videos on this channel. I've got two channels actually. This channel I devote to things like this and CNC routing, the programs that operate CNCs and how to use them, wood turning, a lot of wood turning, and I also am starting up a new segment now of milling machines, CNC milling. And I've also got another channel, there's some on this channel too, of lasers and how to use lasers and run the program for those. So thank you for joining me, and as always, it's bye for now.